Make it policy based.
So that means you're for.
That means I'm for black people and happy Black History Month.
But you're not saying one candidate over the other?
Hey man, my don't get me in no trouble tonight.
No, that's your job with me, to get me in trouble.
My grandfather gave me some stellar advice sometimes. He said, son, sometimes you just got to know to stay out of white folks' business. And this time, I'm going to keep my mouth closed. I still like the policy that the old man had that I was supporting. I would encourage people to find who's supporting that policy and see what happens.
But you can't get yourself to say vote for Biden over Trump?
You want me to list it now? So now
I'm just saying that.
Can he get himself to apologize for the crime bill? Can he get himself to get his head out of black people? You are black regardless. I need you to tell me what I need to do. Can he pick a coalition of former people who are affected by drug laws, street gangs, recidivism and crime and say, I need you as a board to advise me how to fix federal prisons? If he can do that, absolutely I can. So my challenge is out.
So Killer Mike, the one who refused to endorse Joe Biden on Bill Maher's show, and the one who was arrested at the Grammys, curiously enough, after not endorsing Bill Maher, recently went on a View. And you will tell by Sunny Hostin, the descendant of slaveholders' reaction, that his answer did not satisfy her question. Let's take a listen to this interview.
Well known for being a political activist on top of your music, and you were a campaign surrogate for Bernie Sanders. You campaigned for your home state Democratic senators Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. Yeah, and you got some attention recently for being somewhat critical of President Biden, saying you weren't ready to endorse him yet. What's your holdup there?
What's my holdup? Well, first of all, I think everyone should focus on hyper-local. We get caught up.
That part I agree with. We get so caught up in the national race and the state races, and it's in the local jurisdictions that affect your life the most. Whenever I'm talking to people in the community, people at my church, I always tell them it's much more important to know who your mayor is. It's much more important to know who's on your school board. It's much more important to know who's on your city council. It's much more important to go to city council meetings. It's much more important to go to school board meetings. See, the media and everybody else wants us to concentrate on the national level while they slide in these things on the local level. Look at all these issues that are happening with the migrants in Chicago with Brandon Johnson, in Boston with Mayor Wu, in Denver with the mayor, in New York with Mayor Adams. These are local issues, okay? Local issues. The local issues affect us more than these national issues. We have to refocus, reframe our attention away from these national issues. These people in Washington, D.C. do not affect your life as the people that you see every single day that go into City Hall and make rules and make regulations that affect you. Your property taxes, for example. Your redistricting, whatever, if you go to public school, the redistricting, where your children are going to school, how the local government is spending your money. Those things are important. Your school board, what things are they allowing into your children's books? Those things are important. That's much more important than Joe Biden or Donald Trump.
Up in the soap opera of federal elections, and that's fine. But if you are concerned with the federal elections...
And I tell you why, because we are a constitutional republic, and the framers always wanted us to focus more locally. Everything is branching out from the local level. Because when America was originally founded, the states were more in control than the federal government. But because of the progressive movement started with Woodrow Wilson, because of the Marxists and the communists and the socialists who've used the deep state to actually grow the government, the federal government, the Leviathan is now bigger than the state and the local. And so therefore we focus so much attention because the media does a great job of having us look at the shiny object, which is the federal government, while the local government is doing things that harm us even more. Think about these cities, big cities like Chicago and New York with all these migrants. How Chicago, the mayor back in the 80s decided himself that he wanted to be a sanctuary city. And see, a lot of people at that time probably didn't know what a sanctuary city meant. Now they do. Now they're experiencing the repercussions of that decision that was made. But I bet a lot of people didn't even go to the city council meeting to even object to that at that time.
You you don't know who your city council or your wardsman is, you don't know who your mayor is, and you don't have.
Wow, look at Sonny's face. She's not even responding to Killer Mike. Shoo! Ooh, you can see that spirit getting agitated.
Good list of state representatives or governor, then you're just a part of whoever wins the Super Bowl or fanfare. So my most important election is going to be in about a year and a half for who's my mayor going to be. I think that Andre Dickens is doing a great job around housing in Atlanta, and I don't want that to be lost. Even though we have a Republican governor, Brian Kemp, I have a good relationship with him. I like what he's done in terms of Georgia business. We've been leading business amongst all states for the last 10 years, and he brought back the Hope Scholarship and expanded it. So if you're a kid in Georgia, you're poor, you got to be average, you can go to college for free or trade school. So
that's a great program. A lot of young black men would not go to college, but trade school. I remember when I was in high school, there were people in my high school, people that were in my graduating class, that at the end of 6th or 7th period, they went to a place called Ross Collins. People, my homeboys from Meridian High, you know what I'm talking about. They went to Ross Collins. It was a trade school right down the way from our high school. And that's where they went. And they learned trades. They learned how to be plumbers. They learned how to be carpenters. They learned how to do things with their hands so they can establish their own businesses, to be entrepreneurs. That's what we're missing in the black community. When the church plants in the black community and the Democratic Party, those plants, when they drove out all the trade school, it limited the options, especially for black men. And so it's good to hear that Brian Kemp is doing that in Georgia.
in my community, girls are going to college, but boys don't have anywhere to go, and they're not choosing to. In my community, I have a push for trades. That's why I support organizations like Georgia Youth Build. I support organizations like Next Level Boys Academy, because they usher out boys. I need my daughters to be able to marry somebody.
Right.
So,
Right on. I want my daughter to be able to marry somebody who has a trade, who has the ability, number one, that they love God, that they are in love with Jesus, have a relationship with Jesus. But number two, they have something going for them. They have a business. They have a vision. They have a plan. They're not some bum that is sitting at home on their mama's couch playing video games all day. We don't need that. And giving young boys an option besides college of working with their hands is so critical, especially in the black community. We need that.
even in that case, I have said, okay, this governor's doing a good job. In terms of nationally, I'm just kind of doing what my grandfather said, staying out of white folks' business and watching what happens. You know, I'm going to see what happens if there's a candidate that pops up on.
Boy, Sonny Hostin does not like that answer. She is giving Killer Mike the evil eyes.
Around September, October, that needs a push that's really in policy wise.
Look at that. Just look at her face. Ooh. She does not like his answer.
Good for us going to jump up. But for right now, I just don't want to be involved in the soap opera because I'm much too concerned about what's going on in Atlanta on a hyper-local level.
That's so
You lost me a little bit with your support of Kemp, but let me tell you.
Wow. She is a black bougie. She is, I'm going to make a video about this. The black bougie elite who are in bed with the Democratic Party, who care nothing about policies that uplift the black community. If a Republican comes up with a policy that uplifts the black community, people like Sonny Hostin will reject it simply because a Republican came up with it. She's not concerned about what happens with the black community, but you see that. People like her, the black bougie elite, does not want solutions for black people. They don't.
Not supporting
some of
Kemp.
his policies.
That's some misinformation. You cannot like me, but don't lie on me. I saw someone I really respect.
Get her, Kill Mike. Set her straight.
The black woman who's a commentator.
So you don't support him, you like his policies.
Well, I support
Some specific ones he named.
Beyond that, he's the governor of my state, so I have to be involved with him because I can't divorce myself. But let me say this. If you criticize someone, don't lie. Don't say I didn't support Abrams because I did. Don't say that I don't support Democrats because I've helped get 3 Democratic mayors elected. I've helped get 2 state representatives elected. But if someone is in the king's seat, I'm not going to not have dinner with the king on the behalf of my people. I have to do that.
Let me just point some of Biden's achievements out for the black community, right? The lowest black unemployment rate on record, lowest gap between black and white unemployment on record.
You gotta give him a clap.
Black wealth is up by 60% relative to pre-pandemic, the largest increase on record.
Oh, God. She's going through this list of stuff. This is as a group. This does not impact the lives of everyday black people. She is giving out these numbers, and black people are not experiencing these numbers, okay?
Has helped 8 million renters and their families stay in their home, over 40% of whom were black, and the largest effects in majority black neighborhoods like yours. Delivered investment of over $7 billion to support HBCUs. Put $1 billion into Head Start. Whoopi's gonna like that. A program where more than 28% of children and pregnant women who benefit.
Boy, is she... This is why people like Sonny Hostin. This is why a lot of black people are not going to vote in this upcoming election for Joe Biden, because of people like Sonny Hostin. She is going through this list of supposed accomplishments for the black community. Is that list really appealing to you? Does that list make you want to go out and vote for Joe Biden? What about inflation, Sonny Hostin? What about homelessness, Sonny Hostin? What about how expensive it is to find a home, to buy a home, Sonny Hostin? What about those things? What about the lack of opportunity to start a business, Sonny Hostin? What about all the abortion clinics in our community, Sonny Hostin? What about the border, Sonny Hostin? What about these migrants coming into the black community, Sonny Hostin, and taking our resources? You're not going to talk about that, will you?
Identify as black. So those are Biden's accomplishments in the black community. Okay?
That was a white woman saying that too now. Shouts out, that's an ally.
Right? So I hope you'll consider that. But some polls are suggesting that there's been a rise in black voters supporting Trump. Do you believe these polls, and what policies that are important to black men are being addressed by the GOP?
Well, I don't.
A short time to answer that.
Yeah, I'll give you this. I'll give the Democrats this. Black people, especially black men in the South, are afraid. They have concerns around immigration. They have concerns around gun control. They have concerns around wealth building. So if I was the Democrats, I try to speak directly to that base. You guys already have their ear. Most of them have voted for you all their lives. So that doorway is still open for you guys to walk in and engage. I also like to thank Biden for engaging and bringing onto his administration Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Yes.
I think she's excellent. I'd like to also encourage Georgians to follow Democrats like Hostin Reed, like Andre Dickens, like Bill Campbell, and see where they're going. Where are the Democrats you support in your state pivoting to, and follow the people you like?
Yes, make sure that you get out and vote in the...
See, it's people like Sonny Hostin that frustrate black people, especially people like myself as a biblical conservative, because all she is just a shield for the Democratic Party. That's all she is. She is not looking out for the interests of black people. She's only looking out for the interests of the Democratic Party. That's why I call black pastors and black churches, church plants, and the black Bougie elite are just like her.